Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope everyone is doing well this evening.
Hi, Miss Bennett.
Hello. How you doing, Julia?
I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself?
Well, where are you at? I can't see you.
Oh, wait. Is my camera? I thought my camera. Hold
You may have your actual what is it? Your cover on it, so you might have to move it out the way.
on. Oh, one momento.
Or do you have a cover for your camera?
Oh, okay. I think so. No, there's nothing. I see a green light. Wait a minute. I see a green light, but I don't see me.
Okay, something changed. There you go. I see you now. Hey. Oh, we got black and white on. Okay, she got the memo.
I got the memo. User error over here, honey.
Okay. All right, we're waiting for a few more to come in. So we're going to try to start in about 3 more minutes.
Belinda, do you still have availability on Tuesday
On Tuesday.
for the training? Is it no Tuesday and Wednesday of next week? I think I saw today.
Um, I'm not sure what you're referring to. If you're talking about the business training, that is something I know we're in session. So I won't have another class until sometime next year.
Oh, I thought it said the 16th and 17th.
Oh, that one. Okay, thank you. Now I
Mm-hmm.
know what you're talking about. Yeah, for the signing agent class online through Carteret Community College,
Mm-hmm.
you still have the time to actually sign up. The last I looked at the roster, there was 2 seats left.
Okay. Okay, I'll do that today.
All right.
It's virtual, right?
It's virtual, yes.
Okay.
Hey, Belinda. Hello, everybody.
Hey, George. All right, where's your face at?
It's here. I'm just getting in, so trying to get
Okay, you getting
settled real
settled?
quick.
Understandable. All right, appreciate it. All right, it's 6:35. Welcome, welcome. For those that have not attended our TNT on this new platform, I want to go over some of the navigation so that you can have an idea of how to raise your hand, as well as how to communicate. If you have questions, there's a place for that separate from just actually making comments and interacting with everyone in the actual group. So I'm going to share my screen for this um, on the platform so I can actually help you actually see how to navigate from your view. So in sharing the screen, let me go to here. There we go. All right, so you should be seeing the screen like I see you. Here at the top is your menu. So if you're wanting to check out your audio and your video settings, you'll be able to do that here by clicking that, and it will actually show microphone, speaker, camera, so that you can actually be able to make sure you can make those adjustments if there's a problem or if you need to check and do a troubleshooting technique. Um, and then we have your mic. So if you want to mute yourself, you will be down in the circles. But when you start talking and unmute yourself, you'll be up here with me. And it's similar to like Clubhouse. If anyone is on Clubhouse, they can see if someone's actually able to talk, they're actually going into the stage. So this is like the stage in that regard. And then your camera, if you're wanting to have that off or on, you actually click this, and it will either take you to the screen that you may have an image for yourself when you're not on camera, or it will be a blank where you can see some of everyone in the audience that may be that way. The raise hand feature is here. So when we're going through the Q&A, please do raise your hand so we can make sure that we can do things in an orderly fashion to make sure there's no one been missed when it comes to questions that they may want to actually speak out loud. Um, and then the view, it will allow you to actually show it from gallery or the person who's speaking or audience view, so you can actually work on that as far as toggling through. And then when it comes to the chat, you have everyone, and you have the Q&A. So for everyone, that would be again us communicating. As you can see, for those that actually remember, whenever we come on, we want to highlight where we're at, where we're commissioned. So put in your state and your county, so we all can know who's who in the room. This can help us also know who we can reach out to if we need some assistance in our area. We may be on vacation, someone may call us and say, "Hey, I need something notarized," and you can't do it because you're not home. So if you have other notaries that are within the network in your area, you can hopefully um, send them to the other notaries so they can still get services, and that way you still can help them without being able to physically notarize a document. So that's another way of just building our community and making sure that we're looking out for the general public. Q&A, this is where your questions can go, so that way it would not be lost in where we're doing a general chat. So this again can help with making sure we have everything organized in a way that if I need a moderator, then I'll see if someone can volunteer to help me make sure I don't miss anything when it comes to just making sure that I can stay on topic, because I have ADHD. And if I have a distraction, I will oftentimes forget what I was talking about. So, me understanding myself, I will ask for help because I want to make sure I don't miss anyone when it comes to that. So this again are the features of the group. We may at some point do breakouts where we can actually group you all in certain sections where we can actually make this more intimate. Also, where we can again have everyone in their own room for a few minutes and then go over whatever the exercise may be. But that's something I am looking to be able to do next year. So again, 2026, there's a lot of expectations of what that can be for us. So um, any questions when it comes to the platform before we get onto our topic of discussion for tonight? Yes, Camille.
Thank you, Belinda. Good evening, everyone. Belinda, what is the method get this meeting on my laptop because I've been accessing it from my phone.
Okay, so if you go to meeting.com, it's
Mhm.
going to ask you what room you're wanting to attend, and then you're going to put in the last part of the URL, which is going to be Tuesday hyphen, Tuesday hyphen notary hyphen tune-up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we're going to get started with our topic of discussion. So I hope you guys have already take some notes because this is some things that are happening that I know I've heard for months now, and it's to a point where I think it needs to be addressed a little bit more, just so we can make sure that you guys understand what we can charge as a fee to the public versus businesses. When it comes to how we structure our payment schedule, one is governed by the general statutes, and the other one is a mutual agreement. And so, when it comes to you understanding how that is breaking down, that is going to be very helpful when it comes to you understanding if everything is in our Notary Public Manual. So, this is again something that you should always have access to before you go out to notarize a document and during the time that you're notarizing for anyone. This again is a resource for us to go to and a reference for us to actually know what we need to do and what we can and cannot do when we're actually notarizing a document. So if you start getting to a point of challenging yourself to read every chapter, go from chapter 1 week, chapter 2 the second week, chapter 3 the third week, there's 9 chapters. When you actually take the time to schedule time with yourself, time with your responsibility as a public official, you will see how proficient you will become when you're actually getting really acquainted with your manual. And again, it's going to take you time to actually digest some information from what was taught in the commissioning class because they have to go through a lot of material in an 8 hour or less time frame, and most times it's 6.5 to maybe 7 hours. Okay, and that's not enough time for you to really digest this information that's in this book. You're dealing with a lot of legal jargon. So, with that being said, unless you are a paralegal or a licensed attorney that is also in the Republic, this is not going to be easy to digest in one setting. So that's why, again, I would challenge you to take the time to actually digest one chapter at a time. And actually, I would say start with chapter 3 with the terms because you've already exceeded chapter 1 and 2. So going from 3 for the definitions and forward is what you can actually again concentrate on now that you're commissioned as a notary public. Everything else is educational information before you became commissioned. Okay. So when it comes to understanding this information, I believe in fact checking. So anytime someone actually make a comment on the groups that I see on Facebook or other places, when they're asking a question that I know is in our manual as well, that could be found in the general statutes or even the administrative code, I like to be able to identify where the information can be found. This again helps you as a notary to become more proficient with where the information is in law. Okay, the North Carolina General Statutes is the notary laws for us to follow when it comes to General Statutes 10B section for notaries. So, um, where you have General Statutes 10B 20 C5, which is a paragraph, all right, the notary will receive an additional consideration over and beyond the fees that are authorized by General Statutes 10B 31. 10B 31 is a place that we spend a lot of time on when you're dealing with the General Statutes. And other than fees, cash, interest, property, and commissions, etc., pay for services rendered by an attorney licensed to practice law in North Carolina, a real estate broker or salesperson licensed to do business in North Carolina, a motor vehicle dealer, or a banker. Now, the reason why these are different positions that a person that is a notary may hold also these licenses, you want to understand that they have the authority to do additional things, to accept additional payments because there's more things involved. So it still doesn't stop it from giving us the responsibility of a limit of what we can charge when it comes to what the statute says, but there's more involved when it comes to how much money they may actually receive from a customer, so that they won't be considered breaking the law because of how the fee is structured in these scenarios. Again, as a notary public, we are limited to just the $10 per signature that we can actually charge someone. So there's a section that I want you to also take in consideration for 10b-30, imposition and waiver of fees. For performing a notarial act, a notary may charge up to the maximum fee, which is $10, specified in this chapter. A notary shall not discriminatorily condition the fee for a notarial act on any attribute of the principle that would constitute unlawful discrimination. So, what does that mean? If there's someone that you're actually seeing, and you may have quite a few people that you're actually working with in a day, and you see where you have a nice dressed person that's coming to you to actually get some documents taken care of, and they need you to notarize them, you're going to charge them your $10, or you may discount them depending on if they're a veteran, if they're a nurse, whomever they may be. You may want to do that. The next person that comes may actually be someone that looks like they're homeless, and because you don't want to deal with their presence, you may decide to actually overcharge them so you won't have them to actually be or have them bothering, so to speak. You can't do that legally. That's discrimination. So we want to make sure that we understand, as a public official, everybody should be treated equally. We cannot be impartial to anyone when it comes to how we do our job. So you want to make sure that you don't run into that situation. I've heard where people have done that. So again, let that not be you, because that is unlawful and that can get your commission revoked as well as suspended. So again, you want to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a situation that you're considered being discriminatory against someone else. And so again, that is something I would like for y'all to remember. And when it comes to D, a notary may not charge any fee for witnessing and affixing a notarial seal to an absentee ballot application or certificate under General Statute 163-231. Again, that's General Statute 163-231. As I'm going through this information, guys, you can take this down as marketing, educational material that you can start actually sharing with your audience. People like to know what you can tell them when it comes to resolving their problem. If you already have this information displayed on your Google Business profile, your website, your Facebook business page, or your Instagram page, anything that's a social network that can give you visibility, start learning how to use techniques like this. When you're actually in your book, you have a lot of marketing material throughout this entire manual, and it's all about educating them and then following up with a call to action. If you need a document notarized, contact me, call me, email me, text me, tell them what to do. And that's part of how you market. So again, you want to make sure that you understand that it's one thing to know how to do the job, but it's another thing to know how to market so you can get the customers to actually know that you exist. All right. So again, all that plays a part in you actually being able to gain customers to do the work. Now, 10b-31, again, specifically tells you how much we can charge. Now, I don't reference the book because you need to make sure it's updated, because it still says $5 until we get the new manual. But if you go through the general statutes online through the .gov site, you'll be able to actually see the updates. I will encourage you to download them digitally. Make sure you have them onto your electronic device. If you have a Google account, you have Google Drive, upload those documents to your Google Drive so you can always have access to them. You can have it and you can pull it up on your phone, your tablet, so you don't have to worry about being bound to the book, because again, this information is outdated as in the book. But you want to make sure that you have ways that you can actually strategically keep things in front of mind when it comes to you having exactly what you need to make sure you're not doing anything that's going to be a problem with breaking the law. So with that being said, what we cannot charge another fee for is when we're administering an oath or an affirmation to a credible witness, all right, to vouch for the identity of a principal or a subscribing witness. I know there's a lot of newer notaries, and again, a lot of them are coming into this space because they're looking at all of these different YouTube videos, TikTok about how you can make six figures and more. Well, all of that is true. But what they're not telling you in that moment is it took them time to get to that point and they are doing multiple things and not just one. So you have to really think realistically. Anything that sounds too good to be true usually is. So there's a lot more backstory in that in order for you to understand that there's more involved. It's not a get rich quick type of thing. We're a public official. What public official do you know that is living like that? Okay, thank you. So you got to know that you got to do some work, right? You're gonna have to put some time into this and really work your craft. All right. I have the ability to actually make six figures because of what I've been able to create over time. I became a notary in 98. I've been taking business classes and I have been actually building up other skills in what I do in business. And so, collectively, with all the things that I do, that number is definitely real. But again, you need to know the backstory of how these other people have done that. But yet, just know how you can apply it to yourself. And again, it starts with first, reading is essential. Reading is so essential. And I can't say that enough because when I see people who are not taking the time to read, it bothers me. If you're a notary public, most of our job is reading, paying attention to detail. And if you don't like reading, if you don't like having to pay attention to detail oriented tasks, this is not meant for you. All right. It's just that simple. So when it comes to other things that you can actually benefit from understanding, when it comes to being an IPN, meaning an in-person electronic notary, for those of you that actually have taken the training, that's a commission added to what you currently have in place. It ends on the same date as your regular commission. When you recommission for your notary public commission, it is going to be separate every time. So you have to do two different classes. You're going to have to do the exam online to be recommissioned as a notary public. And then you're going to have to take the training again as an electronic notary to perform in person electronic notarization. Now, this class is still always something that you can take if you haven't become or added that to your training. But right now, everything's on hold at the Secretary of State level because they're vetting different companies that are now having to go through the application process to be approved. Anyone that was on that list before and was 7 listed, you don't have access to see that online because they have removed access to it while they're actually going through the vetting process. They have already sent us emails for those that are on their email list to actually know that this is something that is on hold until sometime in January, possibly February, so of 2026. So again, all this kind of works with RENA when it comes to Remote Electronic Notarization Act, that all of this with the new platforms, all of them are getting approved within the same type of application process. So that is what has changed since last year. And again, if you hadn't had an account with a company prior to that change that has happened, then again, you will be affected in this way. Now, this is a new thing that we did learn during the notary chat. Anyone who takes the electronic or the in-person electronic notarization training after January the 1st, you will no longer have to go to the Register of Deeds office to be sworn in like we normally have been doing since 2006. All right, 2006 was when the electronic notarization was a thing, but they gave it an acronym and it's IPN. meaning in-person electronic notarization. I still see notaries saying, I just took the Ron training. And so, no, you did not take a Ron training. We don't have Ron here. We won't have Ron here. We will have what they call REN, which is remote electronic notarization. And it's different than any other state because we have to understand and actually get the proper training to be an electronic notary to actually do remote notarization in North Carolina next year, whenever that may be completed. Again, that's still underway. We're still waiting patiently. However, we just want to make sure you are thoroughly understanding exactly what things are and what things are not. Because again, the confusion is real. And it's unfortunate that if you don't take the time to really digest and be a part of the notary chats, be a part of these Tuesday Notary Tune-Ups, as well as anything else specifically for North Carolina, you are going to be easily lost just because it is not easy information to consume. All right. Now, when it comes to posting fees, if you have an established location, you want to make sure that if you're in a set state, you have to have information posted. It needs to be in English. It needs to be in a size of 10 points or higher. I would say 14. Okay, so that way it's very easy to read and it's not like you're trying to hide anything because remember, when you look at a lot of these prescribed drugs, they got everything in bold until you go to the fine print of all of the things that are not good for you or things that you have to look for, right? So you want to make sure you don't be in the same category of them. The goal is to make sure that you're very clear with your pricing and to make sure that your customers don't have any confusion as far as, okay, how much they're supposed to be charged. Because as they're coming to your establishment, if they see a poster there with the information, reading is essential. It can help kind of keep a lot of things down when it comes to questions, other than you actually being able to look over the paperwork to actually identify how many places you're going to have to actually personally acknowledge them signing and actually notarizing the document. So again, this can help you make sure that you're staying compliant if you have a stationary location that customers are coming to you. So again, this is not for those that are mobile notaries, but this is something that you can apply to your website. This is something you can apply to your Google Business profile. This is something you can apply to all of your socials when it comes to clarity, transparency, so people can earn your trust as a notary public because there's a lot of notaries, once again, taking advantage and are not charging correctly. So we're going to go over seal. So let me go back because I talked to you guys about how you can properly charge for a person. All right. So again, that's under general statutes. There's no questions about that. You can not charge. You have that option as well. But the goal is you cannot exceed $10. You can always go below, but you can never exceed it. Okay. And then when it comes to travel, if you're actually going to someone, you can charge per mile, and that is round trip. So if you know that your office or your home is 5 minutes from your customer, well, 5 minutes back, or I should say 5 miles, excuse me. So if you know you're going to go 5 miles to them, 5 miles back, that's 10 miles total that you can charge per 70 cents per mile. And again, that's the way you calculate it. Now, come January of 2026, that 70 cents is going to increase. We don't know what that is yet until the IRS posts it on their website. But stay tuned for that because that's going to help you make sure that you're not been put in a position where you're not getting exactly what you're supposed to be compensated for. So we want to make sure that you're definitely making sure that it's covered, but you want to make sure that you're getting that information from the IRS.gov website so you can stay compliant. Now, when can you charge more than $10? That's easy. You are a notary. If you're actually getting an assignment from a law firm, okay, a law firm is not a person, it's a building, it's a company, it's an entity that's not the principal signer. If you're getting work from a lender, once again, that is a position, it's not the principal signer signing the document. What happens is the attorney, the lender, they're the one who's charging the customer, which is their client, for all of the legalities that they're doing for them. Now, if there's anything that needs to be notarized for their client, they may call you as a notary public to notarize the documents for their client. That client becomes your customer. When you're notarizing for that customer, they're not the ones paying you, because if they were paying you, then you would have to go through general statutes. But since they're not the one who's paying you, that's personally present, that you're actually witnessing their signature, the money that's coming to you for this job is coming from the third party. So a third party, you can charge them a mutual agreed upon amount. So you want to make sure you understand your fees. How much should you charge for printing something or mobilizing to that location? And then what else are you doing when it comes to everything total, when it comes to your time, your actual experience level, when it comes to how long have you been a notary? How often have you been able to do the things that you're doing? Everything builds upon time and experience, right? You got to get started somewhere, but you should not come off the gate asking for several hundreds of dollars from a company that you have not done one notarization yet. So you want to make sure you're getting the experience for you to earn that amount that you're wanting to increase over time to third parties. And again, a third party is someone paying you and not the principal signers. All right. So that is something that you really do need to understand, because that will keep you honest, as well as legally doing things in a way that you're not going to have the Secretary of State coming for you. Now, there is someone or some people, because of some issues with what has been happening with notaries overcharging, where they're looking at websites, they're looking at posts, they're looking to see what notaries are doing in North Carolina. And if it looks like they're actually overcharging, and again, instead of them picking up the phone trying to maybe call to ask, and sometimes they have done both, they are going to report you to the Secretary of State. Okay. Now, this is something that I'm for until it becomes something that they're not paying attention themselves. The goal is to try to clean up and make things honest when it comes to us as notary publics. We don't want to we want to make sure that the public can trust us, but it becomes a hesitation when they're having a bad situation and a bad I should say, they have a bad experience with someone and they learn later that they were overcharged. It's happening way too often because either notaries are just not paying attention to the general statutes for North Carolina, or they don't care and they're just being criminal. All right. So let that not be you, because I can guarantee you you're going to get caught at some point in time. And when you do, it's going to be just like the situation similar to what has happened with the person who actually notarized a document and the person wasn't there. Okay, they can possibly go to prison. Let that not be you. I can't say that enough. Now, I had a question about what does seal mean here versus seal here. Okay, these are two different snapshots from a document. So when you're dealing with a document that has the word seal where it's beside a person's name, or there's a line there, it means they need to sign this document. Now, when it comes to what the meaning is, again, this is something that they're signing for the seal, not for you to actually put your notarial stamp. And when I read this on a post on the Notary Network, I was like, are you serious? Where are you at? I need to come see you. Because I'm like, no, you don't charge, you do not actually stamp that, because that is another violation. If it's not the notarial certificate, then you're out of compliance, and that's a problem. So here where it says seal, this is part of your notarial certificate. Okay, this is an acknowledgement, and so you'll put your stamp here. So what does this seal and this seal means? What is the difference? Okay, I'm glad you asked. So when it comes to what that seal means, where you sign your name on these legal documents, on a standard contract, the statute of limitations is usually 3 years. All right, that's what it is when someone signs a contract with their signature without the word seal being present. However, and again, you can go to North Carolina General Statutes 152. Again, there's so many statutes for so many different areas of law. It's a lot, okay? But we're gonna focus on what we need to be attentive to. Now, when it comes to that seal for someone to sign, it changes the statute of limitation. So a sealed instrument statute of limitations for an action upon a sealed instrument or an instrument of conveyance of an interest in real property, the statute of limitations is extended to 10 years. All right, you can find that in North Carolina General Statutes 147.2. Now, this is good information for you to know, and this is good information for you to share when it comes to your post on your social media outlets. This is not something that we should be telling a customer when we're actually with our notary hat notarizing a document, okay? Because we don't want to be in a position that we're actually, again, approaching, we're doing more than we need to be doing in that position as a notary public. If they ask us, what does this mean, the seal? Oh, you need to sign your name right there. So that's what it means when it comes to us telling them the limit of what we can share. Now, again, if they go to your website, if they go to your blog, if they go to your your Google business profile and you have this information there, now they're going to find out a little bit more. Now, because this is general statute and this is fact, it's not an opinion, it's not advice. It's just giving them exactly what it is, factual information that's legal in law. So this is how we can actually determine when we're giving advice versus actually giving our opinion. When it comes to factual information, so there's fact, opinion, advice. Opinion and advice kind of goes hand in hand. When it comes to your facts, is what you can actually prove because it's written when it comes to law. So this is how you can cover yourself when it comes to how you can actually, again, market your information, gain visibility and trust from those that are actually looking for a notary. And this is a great way to actually become an authority in being a notary public. So always be learning. I cannot express it enough. For those that are wanting to see exactly what other trainings are left this year before December 31st, you can take advantage of our Saturday, December 20th online live quarterly training. We're going to go over two different court documents as well as two different types of real estate documents. The deadline is extended through tomorrow night because I have to have time to get the material out in the mail to everyone who's taking this class online. I believe in making sure that you have exactly what you're needing when you're doing any type of trainings with me. So whether you're in person, those that have actually done any training classes in person with me know that they only need to come with their jacket just in case it's really cool in the room. And I usually have water for you as well as some snacks until it's time to have lunch. Lunch I don't provide, but you have your materials for studying and paying attention in class. So you don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, I forgot my pen. Oh my God, I forgot my highlighter. I don't have my paper. I didn't download it. That's okay. I have you covered. No different than on the online. So those that have done online trainings with me, you also know that when it comes to the notary trainings, that you have the material shipped to you and that way you have everything there and you don't have to worry about again not having the best copy to actually do your exercise and keep that as a reference, just like your manual that you can refer to when you may have a customer that has a similar document, but now you can actually look at your exercise document and be able to use that as a walkthrough to do this accurately. So that way, again, I'm still there when I'm not there because it's on the document. And this is how I can help you elevate your training, your understanding, and exercising what you have the ability to do in confidence as a notary public for North Carolina. So the goal is to always keep you in a position that you're actually always ready without having to wait to get ready. Next year, we're doing it differently. We're going to do Friday and Saturday, where you're going to have 9:30 to 4:30 with me, those 2 days to actually go over 16 documents in one setting. Notaries, I listen to you guys when you actually give me insight and feedback. Thank you for that. So this is because notaries have said, hey, Belinda, instead of spreading out for the whole year, is there any way that we can get it sooner than that? This is how you do it. It's going to be 2 days again where you're going to have all 16 types of documents that now you can put in your portfolio as a reference after you take these classes. The classes will be in Greensboro this year. Was having it in both Charlotte and in Raleigh, but now we put it in the middle point so that those Greensboro notaries that has been blowing me up for all this year saying, "Can if you was a little closer, can you come here?" Well, I am there. I've already secured the building for the entire year, and so these dates are set. All right, and if you are too far to come to Greensboro, you do have the online option, and I've already went over how those are conducted, so you know that you're getting the same type of service online as best as I can possibly give, when you're not able to do it in person with me. These are websites that you can actually stay in touch with me and know exactly what's going on when it comes to any trainings and other opportunities that we have. You can go to ncnotarytraining.education, or you can go to ncnotarycoachbelinda.com or just ncnotarycoach.com. It's still going to take you to the same page. If you are not a member yet for the North Carolina Notary Association, what are you waiting for? This is an association that is for notaries of North Carolina. We have annual events, I should say annual conferences. So we had an annual conference this past May. We're having another, or was it April? It was in April. And so next year it's going to be May 14th in Raleigh. So we have different locations that we actually do the conferences every year. It's never going to be the same place because, again, we have notaries in 100 counties. Therefore, we're wanting to actually make sure that we can navigate in different areas where there's a lot of volume of notaries, though, that we can actually perform and have these events. So, again, we're always looking for volunteers, and we have scholarships. So, if you or you know someone that is in college, whether it's a community college or university in the state of North Carolina, you have the ability to actually apply for a $500 scholarship, and some have won more than one because it all depends on exactly if it's the need is merit, you're a member, and then someone actually choosing you based on the honoree of the particular scholarship. So again, we truly believe in making sure we take care of those that's furthering their education. Remember, always be learning. So this is another extent to that. And by the way, I am also the president of the North Carolina Notary Association. This is my first term, and I will be looking to be reelected for the second term. Okay, so I am thankful and honored to be in this position. And without further ado, this is actually 5 years that we've had the Facebook page up and running. So December 7th of 2020 is when I founded the group. And again, it has developed over the years. So when I tell you it took time and it took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, literally, to actually do all the things I'm doing for notaries, it's because my heart is there. And I want to see you guys succeed when it comes to me knowing that you have the ability to do exactly what you have access to do. Again, there's no limit to what you can do unless you put it on yourself. So I'm here as a guide to help you in this way. And again, I hope you guys have enjoyed this session. We can come to the Q&A. Let me see if there's any questions in the chat. None so far. So let's have a conversation, guys.
Thank you,
All right, so
Belinda.
I have all right, so I have Dave and I have Miss Vicky. So Dave, you're up.
I have two fee-related questions. The first one is, someone comes to the notary notarizes a document for them, and then the person says, oh, I could really use a copy of the notarized document or a scan, or could you fax it for me to my bank or my attorney? Can the notary charge for these extra services?
The answer is yes. And the way you do that and the why you can is the fact that it's separate from you notarizing the document. Now you actually providing copying service or faxing service or print service. You want to make sure when you invoice them, it's specifically showing what you're charging as the notarial act and what you're actually charging for the print, the copy, the fax, the scan. you got to make sure it's a separate line item for that particular thing.
Okay, and my second question is, say it's a mobile notary and someone contacts the mobile notary on Sunday and they're like, oh my gosh, I forgot I need to have this document notarized before I go to the airport tomorrow morning. Could you come at 10 o'clock tonight to my house and notarize this document for me? And the notary says yes, and they agree on the travel fee, and maybe like the example you gave before, it's 5 miles each way, so 10 miles total, it's $7. The notary goes to the person's house at 10 o'clock, they notarize the document, and the person says, how much is that? And the notary says, well, just like we agreed, it's $10 because I notarized one signature for you and $7 for travel, that's $17. And the person says, oh my gosh, that's all? You came to my house at 10 o'clock Sunday night. I need to give you more. I'd like to give you $30. Can the notary accept that extra money as a tip?
No, we cannot. The reason for it, and I'll try to find the area in statutes that you can't. As a public official, we cannot accept beyond what we have been given when it comes to what our job is. So yes, we can appreciate someone wanting to actually give us a tip or a gift, but we can't accept it because just think about it, as a public official in this capacity, we don't want to be bribed, possibly, because we don't want to be moved by money in that regard, which is why it's important for you not to come into this position money driven, because that can be a danger. If you're vulnerable and you're desperate because you're trying to make ends meet, you may be very tempted to take a tip, a bribe, where it can lead down a very, very horrible place where now people can threaten and say, oh, I understand you're a notary, but you took more than you're supposed to have. I understand the law too. So I can report you. You know that, right? Well, instead of reporting you, I just need you to do this and this and this for me. So now you don't want to put yourself in a compromised position where someone's holding something over your head, blackmailing you, because that can be easily done for criminals that understand how to actually manipulate a notary. So, as tempting as it is, what tip we can get is ask them to do a review for us. If they really appreciate what we've done, going above and beyond, that is a way that they can actually show appreciation by giving us a review. That review can help bring more customers.
Yeah, I've actually looked at the statute for bribery, and there's not as much as you would expect. The bulk of it is about bribing players and officials at sporting events, but there is a section about public officials. And since the notary can't accept the unsolicited tip, it must be even more wrong for someone to have, if they have a payment thing on their website, even more wrong in the checkout for them to have something that pops up where the person, like soliciting a tip, that's the tip thing. Like if you go to get food at a restaurant, then it pops out when you scan your card. And I've seen people doing that, and I've seen people on the Secretary of State's Facebook group talking about how mobile notary is such a great deal for them because people are so appreciative. They all want to give tips, and I didn't think it was okay, and you've confirmed that it's not.
Yes. So what I normally do when I see, and this was 2 years ago, there was someone, and they were not a North Carolina notary, but because they're a public official, it goes across the U.S. You cannot accept beyond exactly what your fee base is under the statute. And they were actually just excited that they got $100 tip from this customer because they had done whatever for them for notarizations, and they actually again posted this online. And so I inboxed them and said, hey, I'm not sure if you're aware, but as a public official, it's illegal to accept anything beyond the notarial fee. And I seen your post, and I want to make sure that you're not misrepresenting information to other notaries that are really not aware. And so when I actually brought that to their attention, they came back and said, thank you so much. I didn't realize that. I will take that down immediately. Again, what they did afterwards, again, who knows? But I told her if she wants to correct that, she needs to give the money back because she needs to explain to them that, again, she's a public official and that goes out of the bounds of what she can receive outside of the notarial fee itself. And that's how you can correct it. I know other notaries that were aware of it after the fact. They did contact customers to let them know, I'm sorry, I do have to actually give you money back because by law, I can't accept that without possibly getting into trouble. And people do appreciate, again, the honesty, the showing that you have the integrity to correct a wrong, even when you didn't do it intentionally. This is another way that you can, again, have loyal customers because with that type of act of actually doing things correctly will bring you more business.
Cool. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Dave. Miss Vicky, you're next.
Yeah, I'm probably the one that started her question about how to get priced, and I'll give some background for people that are on the group. There were 2 posts in a local Facebook group I'm looking for that initially looked like it was the principal or principal's relative was asking for a service. And they asked for the price, and I'm sending you the $10 plus travel. And someone said they wanted to offer a hazard fee because it was going to a prison. I have since spoken to the notary who has contacted these people. It's a very well-respected notary out of Wake County that some of you all know, and found out that she has eventually been contacted by attorneys. So it is now going through a third party. So she will be able to accept additional fees. So the original post made it act like it was a principal or principal's relative asking for the information, and the final deal is going to end up being through a third party. So the fee will be quite different. Now, I've had the experience as going to principals that they say, I don't want to pay for travel. I'll go to UPS instead. I'll go to the bank. The price for the POA is too high. I will go to the bank. So I've had people reject my prices. Whoops, sorry. As an independent notary. So they don't even want to pay my fee, much less. So I'm very reluctant to charge more, even if I was going through a third party. But she encouraged me to go, if you go through a third party, don't underestimate your worth. And the amount that she told me she was going to charge for the prison, when my jaw dropped. But she said, I'm putting my life on the line to go there as well. So yeah. And she has done this before. So, but that was what the experience was. The original post acted like it was the principal acting, and the final service is going to end up being through a third party.
Thank you for that, Miss Vicky. So that just confirms again what we went over as far as how you can charge and to whom you can receive from your fees. So again, when you know that the person that you're identifying is the one who's actually paying you, that you're actually saying they're the one who's personally appearing before you, then it's going to always be general statute. But if it's someone on their behalf paying you for services that you're going to render to a customer of theirs, then it's a different category. And this can help you stay, again, safe with properly charging as well as identifying, again, the person. On my website, I have categories listed if I'm working with a someone from the general public, if I'm working with a law firm or any other company that's a third party, so that people will actually understand there's a category that you belong to, which one is it? So that way they can click on that particular option and then go through the information that's for them. So again, if you are very clear with your message, that will again help lessen confusion when it comes to your marketing online. And then of course, when you get them on the phone, been very clear in verbal conversation on how you conduct business with them and other people. Any other comments?
Well, that was good because I had on my website I just have the $10 and then saying that travel fees will apply, but I didn't have the category of the different folks, like the third party. And so that would be good for me. Yeah, I'll go back and find a way to, put that on there.
Streamline that. Okay.
So I'm not misrepresenting.
Got you. All right, Dave, I see your hand is up. Yes, sir.
There was a post today on the Confident Notaries Facebook group where someone was asking some questions about doing an apostille related to a visa application somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they asked about in their post was saying that they needed a certified translation of a birth certificate. I have my own idea about what certified translation means, but can you explain what, if anything, that means in North Carolina?
All right, so let me do this. Tina, can you please answer the question? Because when it comes to apostilles, we do have someone in the group, and that's what she does, hands down. And she's someone that I refer others to, that they come across someone that wants something apostille. They can actually talk with Tina Jones Howard, who is very, very well versed in it. So I would like for her to actually answer that question for you. Tina, are you
Hello.
available? Okay,
Yep.
great.
I'm here. Y'all can hear me. So yes, that question that she wanted to know, the client needed a certified translation. So a certified, so I did talk to her. The other part of the question was, could she do it herself? So when it comes to apostilles, it's best not to do the translation yourself because it does have to match apples for apples. So if you leave out a word or something like that, the translation has to match apples to apples with your English version. So a certified translator is going to be someone that is certified to translate documents. And when you get that translation back, it's going to have a certificate attached with it. All right. So whoever you use should send back a certificate saying that they have actually looked over that document and they are affirming that that document is true and accurate versus the English copy. Does that make sense?
And are you saying that this is a requirement of the North Carolina Secretary of State's office for attaching the apostille to a document?
It was the requirement of the agency that was requesting it. So also keep in mind that, again, we're not giving out legal advice, right? So we can't say, do you need a certified, the client is going to tell you what they need because most times they have instructions from the agency that they'll be giving the information to, right? Now, if it's something personal and they don't need a certified translation, or maybe a lawyer or something like that, maybe they had it translated, then they can use that as well.
Yeah,
But when they're saying you need a certified translation, you do have to find a translator that is certified.
And Tina, I think one of the things they may not be clear on is the fact that as a notary public, our limit is to still be in the confines of being a notary. We're going to notarize a document for that customer. However, if they're wanting us to help them with the getting it to the Secretary of State for the authentication department to do their part, then we're going to actually be in an additional position where we're no longer the notary. We've done our job as a notary public. Now an additional service offering, you can actually be a facilitator, a apostille facilitator, where you're now going to actually take the responsibility to get their documents to the right place, which is the Secretary of State. The courier also could be you, or it could be Tina, who takes the documents to walk it through to the Secretary of State's office with the hopes is going to move it quicker, because snail mail is exactly what it means. It's going to go slower. So it can help the process go quicker when you're actually offering this additional service. So again, Dave, this is not a notary responsibility, never. But as an additional service that we can offer, this is one of them.
I understand
Also,
that.
some of the translation companies, they have affiliate links. So on top of that, you getting it, translated, you can also get commission.
So
Yeah.
it's a great service. I don't know how to say this. Some people will try to translate their own documents, but when it comes to apostilles, you need to make sure that they know that there's a possibility that it can get rejected if it's a word or two off. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, yeah.
So it sounds like part of the answer is that the requirement depends upon what the people who are going to be getting the document want. And they can make up their own rules or follow their country's rules. For getting the apostille, does the North Carolina, and something's translated, does the North Carolina Secretary of State have any requirement about the translator being certified, or can anyone who's competent do the translation?
I don't think they have certain requirements. However, it could be just who you get. You know what I'm saying? I always I always get mine certified, and I make sure that the certification letter is included just
Yeah,
to avoid anything getting rejected. Okay.
it's like all the DMV questions. You have to do what DMV wants.
Exactly.
In my limited experience with documents that were being translated from another language into English for the U.S. Department of State, say related to passports or visas, they have no requirement that the translator be someone who's certified as a translator. Any competent person can do it. And sometimes people spend a lot of money in other countries getting, quote, certified translations, but they really don't need it. And I've also looked in the statute in North Carolina, because it's something I saw in a post in one of the Facebook groups. And there's nothing even in the North Carolina General Statutes that defines or uses the word translator. They use the word interpreter, but interpreter is someone who's providing assistance to someone who is hearing, speech, or visually impaired. So it sort of leaves translator wide open. But I understand what you're saying. You need to make sure you're doing something that's going to make the people getting the document at the end happy. And if you
Yeah.
don't do that, it's going to come back.
Yeah. So in her situation, they're applying for visas, right? So you really want to make sure that it's done accurately because they're taking that document to the embassy. So
Birth certificates usually don't require the greatest level of language proficiency to translate. They're generally pretty straightforward. It's not like you were translating a complex contract or something, but I understand you need to do it the right way or it won't get approved. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tina.
Belinda.
So we're we're actually across, or I should say exceeded time is now 7:33. For any of you that may have questions for anything that we went over, please do actually send an email or text, or when we go through the recap on the Facebook group, you can always go through the comments. Tina, if you could please put your contact information in the comment. I want to make sure everyone have access to that. So anyone that may have more questions about how to become an apostille facilitator and or a courier, you can actually get more mentorship from her. I do teach the class on the basic level, so you can actually understand Hague and non-Hague, how that works. We have a class coming up this Saturday. Registration has closed already, but this is something that I'll be doing next year in March and every third month in the season, or every season, I should say, next year. This again will help you be introduced to other things when it comes to specialty services beyond just actually doing general notary work that you hear about. When it comes to how can you be a fingerprint roller, go through that class as well as becoming a signing agent, understanding of the North Carolina notary laws. Everything's about understanding the laws that govern us in North Carolina that you're not going to get from a national company. The NNA is really good when it comes to the reach they have for national companies that are signing services. But you want to make sure you understand how to stay compliant with the laws for North Carolina, because there's not something you're going to get from the Secretary of State's office when you have questions. They have already stated in the manual they do not recognize signing agents. There's a reason. The North Carolina Bar Association is the one that actually gives more information and insight, because we have to go through the fact that this is an attorney state. Even though we work differently than South Carolina and Georgia, that are also attorney states, we have a little bit more leeway when it comes to how we actually operate as a notary facilitating a closing. So that again, I go through a lot of the depths of how to help you understand how to answer somebody else's question of, you mean you can actually be a signing agent in North Carolina? I didn't think you could do that because it's an attorney state. Again, people don't understand the law and the breakdown of it. So I make sure that you have all of the information so you can actually be confident when you're actually able to fact check people when they have these questions. Again, this is our fifth year, and I thank you all that have actually made this community what it is. It's a safe space for us to come and really take time to learn and be able to be engaged and collaborate with one another. I feel that that's the whole point of having a community for us as notaries. A lot of other groups, unfortunately, cannot be as controlled as our private group is. And for those that may not actually be on Facebook a lot, then stay tuned and be on my email list so you can still be in the know of what's happening. So that way, again, you can take advantage of what opportunities we have. I do have the feature for you to actually, again, take advantage of the Black Friday sale. It is a great, great opportunity for you to actually take advantage of, always furthering your learning and understanding the laws and being proficient in your ability to be a notary. Yes, Tina, you had a question or a comment?
I just want to give a plug to
Okay.
everybody on here that if you see any post in Facebook groups and the person is from North Carolina, to invite them to the Confident Notaries group. This is the only group that actually gives out accurate information, because I'm pretty sure you all have seen comments and whatnot that are just doesn't make sense sometimes, the answers or the feedback that is given to a person that has a question. So if you see they're from North Carolina, invite them to the group, because we want everyone to be successful and to get accurate information. And I've seen some things where they need Belinda. They need the courses. Um, we don't learn a whole lot in the we learn in the notary course, but it's not in-depth learning, right? So invite them to take Belinda's classes.
Thank you for that, Tina. And if you want to again contact Tina, I have her featured here, so you can just actually copy the link, save it, so that way you can actually have that for future when it comes to how to reach her. All right. So again, I believe in helping others that I believe and know that they're doing really good in this industry, and making sure that you are going to be pointed in the right direction. The worst thing you can experience is putting money towards something and you feel like, oh my goodness, what do I do now? And then you can't even reach out to the person that you paid. That is horrible. And there's too many of that happening. So again, I'm not like most people. I'm totally unconventional. Okay. Have always been that way. So there's not a time that you cannot feel like you can not get a response from me. Again, my schedule may get busy and I can't respond immediately, but I do always do get back to you. And again, I'm a believer on customer service and building relationships. It's hard to build relationships when everything is dealing with text and reading. I like to be able to talk to you. So don't be surprised if you see a number come up and you want to save this in your phone, 984-377-2694. Again, that's 984-377-2694. This is a number specifically for notaries. I have my personal number, but this number here is for my community, so that you a notary, if I see that someone's calling me from that number, I know it's a notary. And this will help you know that it's me calling you and saying, hey, how you doing? Many times I'm just calling to check up on you because it's something that I feel is necessary and it's missing in so many other places where I just want to see how you are doing. It's not about a numbers game for me. It's about quality of what I can give. So I never have large classes. I don't want large classes. I like intimate settings because you, when you're actually participating in any of my trainings, get so much more out of it. So again, that is something that I offer and I bring to the table. And I think maybe because I'm a veteran and I believe in always serving in any capacity that I can, and it's just part of my upbringing as well. So thank you guys for being a part of this community, making it better because you guys are part of the light. So again, thank you guys. Happy holidays. I look forward to see you guys next Tuesday, same time at 6:30. So please do copy the meet and so you can actually have this for, you know, future. You can just put it on your calendar so that way you can always be a part of exactly what we got going on. All right. So again, if you have any other questions, you know how to reach me. And I look forward to seeing you guys and rocking with you for 2026. Have a good night, okay?
Night.
Good night.
Good night.